when the People's Democratic Party go into next weekend's special Congress and nomination primaries, all things being equal, the name of Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State will be on the ballot in the election to determine the party's presidential standard-bearer ahead of the 2023 general elections. Like everyone else gunning for that singular opportunity, the governor has been on a whistle-stop tour of the country, pitching his manifesto to delegates and party faithful. The core of his message being that what he has done to transform his native Akwa Ibom State will serve as a building block to a broader, more integral policy of national development if he is supported by everyone concerned to run for president. The governor has now joined us to talk about his plans for Nigeria as president, PDP's nomination primaries, developmental strides as governor, and Akwa Ibom as a template for development, Niger Delta matters, among others. Good morning, Your Excellency. You're welcome to the morning show.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, sir. Good to have you join us.
Good morning, Nigerians. And
all right, thank you. Let's get straight into it. You're running to be president. But of course, unlike former Senate President Pius Ayim that we just spoke to, you have kind of two other missions. It's actually a tripartite thing in getting the job done. One is you want to be the president, but you are also saddled with the responsibility of installing your successor. And we know that you have picked somebody. And then two, you also have the responsibility to finish strong. There are a number of projects that are still on the ground that, you know, in the next 1 year that you still have as a governor, you have to finish. How are you juggling all these three important things? And how do you think that it will tell on your chances of picking the ticket for your party, PDP?
Thank you once again. Let me appreciate Nigerians, wherever they are listening to me right now, all over the world, and the other nationals anywhere across the globe. Let me also appreciate my own party for the opportunity and the platform. You're talking about a tripartite running, and I don't see that as a problem. That's where capacity comes in from. I can't just be a one-direction kind of leader. There's no such leader. Even when you sit as a governor, there are so many things calling for your attention at the same time. You must be able to multitask to be able to lead properly. So talking about a successor, finishing well, finishing strong, and then my next level agenda, which is moving up, I think that is not a problem right now. The issue, let's take one by one, the issue of finishing well, finishing strong, finishing all the projects that we have, that can only pose a challenge if you don't have a blueprint, you don't have a proper schedule on what you have to do. We try to make sure that we balance things the way we do them. Look at the major things that we are trying to finish. And mind you, we have scheduled these things to make sure that we finish it by the end of this year, at the very worst, before the first quarter of next year. So that the last few months in the office, we just use it to do wrap-up and then probably just do a transition. Look at all our major projects. Take on aviation development. Whatsoever is remaining right now. Take, for example, the MRO we are constructing right now, the maintenance and overhaul hangar for the aircraft is over 85% completion. And our target date for completion in that project is October. So October is still some months before the next election. So that shouldn't actually be an issue. The issue there is, have you put things in place that will ensure the successful completion of that project? The answer is yes. A project you've done more than 85% shouldn't actually distract you within a year. Take, for example, the terminal building we are doing under the aviation development. That terminal building, all the necessary, brain work that I needed to do there, my input there had already gone in. And what we all need now is supervision to make sure the project is executed and finished in line with what we had as a blueprint. If you look at the taxiway, that one is almost 90 to 95% completion. That's for aviation development. If you look at, in terms of the road infrastructure and other infrastructure, those ones are ongoing. And I don't need to be on site. All I need to do is to make sure I add proper supervision and also make sure we execute these projects in line with what we were doing. In terms of human capacity development, all we need to do is to make sure also that we check one by one in all other facets on which we are pursuing. So I don't see that as a problem. Then talking about the successor, no man can ever stand alone to put a successor. A successor is something that involves all the people. So I want to believe the Akwa Ibom people are the ones on the run in that case. I'm just there on the driver's seat trying to see what is happening. So judging from the capacity and what we've done in the past and what we are capable to do, I don't think it's so much to run a triangle. After all, people run a bigger task than that. So if you've multitasked in the past, that's why I keep saying, I keep believing the fact that in the next dispensation, whoever is to be the president of this country, I keep saying so. If you cannot run a kiosk, you cannot run a multinational. So whoever wants to be a president who cannot multitask, please should not come, because the challenges are enormous. Who does not have the capacity, the strength and everything, the integrity and the sincerity of purpose should not actually stand. So I think I have a major advantage here, because these are things I've done over time. I've also managed public sector now for almost 7 years. I've managed private sector for a very long period of time. So doing these things are not new to me at all. I don't see a major challenge in that. Thank you.
All right, Governor Emmanuel, you had a 5-point agenda when you assumed office as governor of Akwa Ibom State. We can all attest to the transition witnessed from being a civil service state to an industrial and economic hub, so to say. What role would you say your agenda points played in this transition? And how, more importantly, would you apply this approach on a national scale, because the complexities, we'll agree, is quite different?
Sorry, pardon me, Abby. You said what role is who playing?
Yes. What role would you say your 5-point agenda had played in the transition of Akwa Ibom State over time? And how would you apply this same approach on a national scale should you come into power, especially because the complexities are different?
It cannot be so different. I'm not arguing, but I beg to differ that it is going to be that different. It might not be. You see, I'm one of those governors before I came into office. I had a blueprint. I came out with that blueprint ahead of time, what we're going to do. And the question now is, judging from what we put on ground that we're going to do. Take, for example, the infrastructure renaissance we wanted to do. Let's have a look at what's the achievement so far in all this that we put to do. I came up with a plan that I'm running with a 3-prong approach, that the 3 major gateways to my industrialization will be pursued. I said, A, road, water. Look at, judge today from what I've put on ground. In terms of road infrastructure, there is yet to be a state within this short period. Mind you, we battled through recession and COVID-19. And even with that, if you see the infrastructure we put on ground, in terms of road network, you'll be impressed. Then coming to the A, mention which subnational in Africa. I don't want to sound boastful, so that I don't say in the whole world. Mention which subnational in the entire Africa today that has done as much as we've done in aviation development. Even Nigeria as a country, even Ghana as a country, they don't even have an airline. Then, not to talk of other aviation development, today, there's no country in the entire West Africa that can tell you they have MRO. But here we are over 85% completion in our MRO that can repair 2 747-800 series at one time. It can take the CRJs that we're running now 8 at one go. Our repair, maintenance, and overhaul hangar is over 85%. Which of them have actually done this? So then you now look at, even in terms of terminal building, we see a whole lot of things called terminal building across Africa. But today, anybody will tell you in aviation that if you're talking about the smart, intelligent terminal building, that you need to go and see what they are being constructed in Akwa Ibom State. So then if you look at the water, see where we've gone to. You need to talk to the Federal Minister of Transportation in terms of the real deep sea port that will compete with another seaport across the globe. This is things we are putting on ground. So if you look at this and you say it's different, the question there is, if we can put this in place as a subnational, then if you replicate this on a larger scale where I control the policies, right now I don't control policies as a state governor, I don't control the major apparatus of governance, but we still achieve this. So replicate this in a situation where I sit, I control policies, I take decisions on policies that will shape this 5-point agenda you are talking about. And at the same time, I control all these necessary apparatus of government where I can set up system structures and strategies and then put things in place and develop my own shared values on how to govern. I'm telling you, it's going to just be magnificent. I can only see a glorious future rather than the way you're saying that it's a different scale. No, I keep repeating myself. If you cannot run a supermarket, you cannot run a multinational. So the management principles are the same. The discipline is the same. The sincerity of purpose is the same. The capacity that you need, the exposure, the training. And the antecedent is just there to speak for me as well. So I think, judging from the say, oh, it's a different ballgame, different scenario. So which one will you prefer? Somebody who has managed a private sector very well. We've seen the dividend in the private sector. Somebody who has also managed a public sector very well. You've also seen the dividends of democracy. Somebody who has something to show. Totally different from people coming to tell you, I will, I will, I will. I'm not telling you I will. I'm saying, look at what I've done. Despite recession twice in this within this short period, and also COVID-19. Look at what we put on ground. So you can now imagine, and I don't control policies, I don't control the entire apparatus of governance in this country, and I've been able to do this as a subnational. So you need to look at it again. So if given the opportunity, where all these things are also under my watch, I think we'll do much, much better. Thank you.
All right, Governor Emmanuel. Two questions from me now. One is, what precisely do you think would you want Nigerians to expect? What will you want them to see when Akwa Ibom comes to mind, beyond Ibom here and what you're doing in the area of aviation? Your former ally, who a lot of people, believe invited you into this current position, former Governor Akpabio, is also running. People knew that he, mouthed the question of the point of transformation, uncommon transformation, etc. In your own case, beyond aviation and Ibom Air, what should come to mind, and how will that be replicated at the federal? If you have not created a mini Dubai out of Uyo, have you at least created a Kigali that people can point at? That's one, sir. And secondly, you have picked Pastor Udom Emmanuel, as your preferred candidate to succeed you. Of course, you say that is Akwa Ibomite that will, is their choice. What is the point about this gentleman that you like so much? I know that he's a commissioner for lands and water resources, but then you said so much about him in terms of being godly, being God-fearing. Of course, he's a pastor. But we also saw in one of the videos and pictures where he was with you, kneeling down beside you in total obeisance. And people wonder, is this the type of loyalty that you demand from your subordinate, such that if you become the president, will governors come to you on their knees before they can get things done?
Let me correct an impression, first of all, in the answer. Looking at the social media video to judge the personality, I think it's not absolutely correct. And let me also say something. If you're praying in our culture, in our belief, if you are to bless somebody, it is not out of place for the person to kneel down because the person is receiving a blessing. For goodness gracious, let people just also have respect for mode of worship in this part of the world. I run a country that's our mode of worship. When we want to pray, even me as a governor, when I want to receive a blessing, I go on my knees. I mean, it's a mark of honor and respect. It's not only in this part of the world. It's the same culture everywhere. So somebody coming to you, and mind you, there's also what they call an order of a higher authority, and it's embedded in everybody. Then once you are in a certain position, it's not a function of age. It's a function of what you carry. As a governor, you carry the function of a father of a state. And every single person needs that fatherly blessing. Even if you check in all the holy books and all the leadership books, fatherly blessing is much more than anything you can think of on earth. Go and check. How come it was so important, even in the days of the Bible? All those people were more interested in fatherly blessing than even the property. Look at Esau, look at Jacob, look at all these people, look at Isaac. So I don't think it's wrong if somebody is coming and seeking your blessing and then kneeling down to receive your blessing. That has nothing to do with being subservient or anything. It has nothing to do with begging. He didn't beg me for anything. He only told me he wants to run and he needs my blessing. And I need to pour blessing on him. And he has to. It's like with people that close their eyes to pray. Would you say in that case they are afraid? They are not afraid. It's a mode of worship, a mode of concentration, so that you can concentrate on what you want to do. So, and you say, what did I see in this man? There are a few things that, you know, you don't bring into, say, in politics. But let me also say something here. This is a state that capacity, humility in service to the people is very important. Capacity is very important. And then also, I keep saying so, if you have not managed something, you see, there's a lot of people that come into politics without any traceable source of hard work. You just want overnight to come and lead 7.9 million people. This man has a traceable source of hard work over time. He has capacity to show. He has the training. He has everything. The quality of what you need, a good leader to deliver to the people. And also, if you love your people, as a father, if you love your own family, you wouldn't give them. Even it's written also in the major leadership book that we read, that no man can ask the Almighty for fish and he will give him snake. You can also bread and he will give him stone. So if you love somebody, if you love your own people, you know what they will like. You can also support something totally different from what will lead them to where they are leading to. So that's my support for him. He has the capacity. He has that sincerity. He has the integrity. He has a traceable source of hard work. And he has applied his brain to put something in place. So this guy has everything, and he has absolute humility to save his people. So I can go on and on and on about this man, the qualities that he has nothing to do with Udom Emmanuel. Once I finish, I move on. You know I have a second address. I'm not a politician without a second address. I have a second address. So it has nothing to do with me. Then you say, well, no, he's not kneeling down for me. He was just coming for a blessing from me. That's number one. Then you are talking about Nigeria. He said, when I leave Akwa Ibom, what will I leave Akwa Ibom? The question is, if you come into Akwa Ibom today, let's leave material things. Things you see to be material. I'm not a governor that will come and contest and say, I want to be president because I want to build roads. I want to build bridges. No. Anybody can actually achieve that. Look at creativity and ideas I've brought into governance, and just me on that. Just last week, your people joined where I commissioned the first ever crude coconut oil refinery in the entire continent of Africa. This coconut had been there even before I was born, right from the days of my great-grandfather. How come nobody thought that instead of using coconut for rice, or we just chew it as food, because, you know, in Africa, everything is food. And a white man will see an eagle and think of how to turn that to a Gulfstream 650. But a black man will see an eagle and be thinking of pepper soup. So now a governor comes in and says, look, this coconut that we have everywhere, we can turn this coconut to wealth. Today in the international market, a liter of crude coconut vegetable oil goes for $6. 221 liters make a barrel, approximately. I'm not a mathematician. So if you extrapolate, it will give you like $1,320-something a barrel. How much is the crude oil that we're all shouting about? How many people have this coconut that were even planted by their grandfathers with today? If that coconut can find its way to our factory, it turns to money. It will no longer turn to jollof rice. It doesn't stop you from eating. What that encourages is, it is very easy to plant coconut. You don't need fertilizer where we come from. You don't need anything. Just put the coconut in the ground. It will yield for another 99 years. So what we are doing here, we've created wealth for people in more than 99 years to come. So this is creativity and ideas. So when people say some of this, I just wonder. I say, I want governor. I will not tell you to come and judge me whether I can award a contract. No. Come and judge me based on creativity and ideas. Then you're also saying, apart from Ibom A, how can you ignore Ibom A, something Nigeria does not have, Ghana does not have? How can you ignore it? And also, this is something you don't establish with cash. I keep saying, so there's a difference between cash and money. You cannot establish an airline with cash, except, I don't know, except you are from some certain parts of this world. But for a subnational in Nigeria, this is something that is very creative. It has never happened before. So you give me credit for that. Then coming down to my people, what do you think my people will remember me for? If you come into Akwa Ibom State today, if we leave material things, which you know, I mean, we have a lot to show. I don't want to be judged by material things. Let's judge by things that can elude anybody, things money cannot buy. Any single person you meet in Akwa Ibom today will tell you, yes, this man had brought peace into this country. Where there is peace, there must be development. Where there is peace, it means there is unity. Where there is peace, it means there is progress. Where there is peace, it means there is rest. What else do you need in life? Even God himself, when he wanted, he said, my peace I give unto you, and not as the world giveth. So this is something that every single person in Akwa will tell you, that the era of this governor, we've experienced peace, we've enjoyed peace. What else do you think Nigeria needs to move forward? This country needs the same thing. So I am one person. What Nigeria needs is already what I'm providing in Akwa Ibom. So look at what Nigeria needs. Look at economy, security, peace, name it. Whatever Nigeria needs is what I'm providing in Akwa Ibom. So, I mean, to say, no, I don't want people to start saying, oh, he built, after all, we've built many bridges, flyovers, things like that. Leave that aside, and let's see things money cannot buy. Things that have to do with that person. And any community you enter, the aura of that community depicts leadership. Lan Akwa Ibom said today, the ambience, the welcoming ambience, the peaceful nature of the place would depict the leadership. And this is what I have to give to Nigeria as well. I think I rest my case for now.
All right, Governor Emmanuel, I think I must say, on behalf of Steve as well, that of course it's laudable project when it comes to aviation development, that we do applaud that. And please don't be confused about that. We do applaud. It's a really, really laudable effort that you have made in that regard. But now let's cast our eyes and take a look at another area of concern for the Nigerian electorate. Now, education is the bedrock of national development, we all know. Let's discuss the emergency in education framework declared and adopted in Akwa Ibom for its educational sector. That's another laudable effort, we have to say. How would you assess its merit so far? And more importantly, again, how would you deploy this model nationally if you came into power?
Thank you, Abby. When I launched a moral rebirth in my state, and I called it the Dakada philosophy, there are certain pillars that I launched with my people. That certain things, number one, once the passion is right, nothing is impossible. Number two, what you have is all that you need to get to where you want to get to. When I came into power, as at today, Akwa Ibom is, I don't want to bother myself what others do, but in Akwa Ibom today, basic education is free. Why is it free? There's no nation on planet Earth. Don't mind what all these people are telling you. I don't want to mention the names of certain multilateral agencies. Whatsoever they are telling you, every nation on Earth has one aspect or the other that they subsidize for its own citizens to move forward. After all, in Nigeria, in Africa, we don't have social services. Over there, even when you are not working, there's a social contract that you go and then you'll be picking something to survive with. That's why they have the social security number, which they are paying you something on it every month. So here, I'm believing that basic education, because of our purchasing power, is quite weak. And we can actually, as a state, give that to our people back as our own subsidy. So today, I run free and compulsory education at the basic level. That's number one. Then number two, I'm one person that believes the current curricula in different facets and different levels of education that we run today is not what can move 200 million people to the kind of entrepreneurial development system that we're looking for. Why is this so? Let me take you back, because all our education, let me take you back. When we were much younger, if you pick something that is not of the quality that you expected, you say, oh, made in this, made in that. In our own days, we also had what we call Aba made, Akwa Ibom made, Uyo made, Eket made, Awaiman made. But all of a sudden, we all allowed those things to go because our education system did not support that. Other Asian countries continue with their own. Today, they are manufacturing for the whole world. Even check the iPad, Apple is not an Asian country. It's not an Asian company. Apple is an American company. But turn the back of your iPad. Where is it made? You see that it's made somewhere in Asia. The name rings bell everywhere. So, but what did they do? They kept faith with their own. So I'm one person that believes the problem with Nigeria today is not education, but capacity development. So as a president, I think we need to look at different curricula that we're applying on our education system, vis-a-vis what will take us to build that entrepreneurial development in this country, build capacity that not everybody, I don't want a situation to run a country where as somebody is leaving work, is thinking of where to write applications to. No, not at all. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at where I can control the policy that I can change from the top. Because even right now, as a governor, I must still be mindful that even the people I'm training, they must go back to write WAEC, write NECO, and so on. So I cannot completely ignore that syllabus. So I'm trying to overload them with so many things. And look at the result that is beginning to show what we are doing in education. I'm one governor. When I came in, I have a think tank on education, drawing heads of Akwa Ibomite all over the globe to look at what can we do slightly differently to actually take us there. And we still have a whole lot of issues because we don't control the central policy. Our children will still tell you, oh, governor, as we are pursuing this, you know, we still have to meet up with the WAEC syllabus, with NECO syllabus, with JAM syllabus. And that also gives us a little bit of setback to actually fully deploy what we need to deploy. And what am I trying to do right now to actually take us out of that? Allow you finish your WAEC. Once you finish your WAEC, tell me if you want an intermediate education that would train you for a federal university or for a state university of technology, in this case, AXU that we have. So I'm setting up a intermediate skill development center. It's in Ikorodaidem here in one of the low government areas we call Ibom, not too far from Uyo here. I want to believe that when we do a media tour of the facilities, you see that. What we are going to do there is, we know, I don't want to pretend, we don't have most of these skills in Nigeria. So we are, first of all, building this skill development center, getting it equipped, and then trying to also see, can we call on those that have it to come and train our people? So we are trying to get the lecturers, the tutors, the faculty from other countries that have this, and it will be contributory. If you go there, the main infrastructure is ready. Physical infrastructure is ready. It is only the soft infrastructure that we are trying to bring in from offshore. And COVID-19 has been a major setback because most of the countries that we have brought these skills from, I mean, they are scared. Some of them are still shut down. I mean, they don't allow people to travel freely as we used to do. But as things get eased off right now, I am sure we'll soon open that institution. But you need to see the infrastructure we put on ground. You need to see the equipment we have on ground. It competes favorably with those people that also built on what they were having before, which they are now using to also deploy. And I've also seen a technology center in Europe where 90% of the people there are not university graduates, but they have a basic tertiary education, and it has helped to develop a whole lot. So coming back to what I'll do in Nigeria, I think, judging from the fact that we are 200 million people, we have the population, we have the human capacity to actually get this done, we need to stratify and know the area that will get us out quick and rely so much on human capacity development rather than on certificates that people show you. I think I'll rest my case in that one, and I believe you give me the opportunity to blow open what is in my mind in the nearest future. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Governor Emmanuel. But then one more question. If the president does not sign the amended electoral bill, it means that less than 900 delegates will choose the flag bearer for your party at the primaries, which is close by. That, of course, is by virtue of Section 84, subsection 8. If that happens, do you see that as a victory of some sort for you governors who have always canvassed for the National Assembly not injecting certain things, into the electoral bill? And if that happens, what are your chances against other formidable aspirants like Peter Obi, like Senator Payosanyim, not to talk of others in case your party, throws it open and jettisons zoning? Atiku Abubakar, Bukola Saraki, Bauchi State Governor. What will be your chances? And then what are your thoughts as to the fact that less than 900 people may decide who becomes the flag bearer?
Thank you, Steve. Let me tell you, in our days in secondary school, when we are doing debate, we used to conclude by saying, with these few words of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you. With these few discussions we've had, judging from what I've done, judging from what Nigeria needs and what I'm already providing, you still want to say this? I rest my case in that. But let me also say something that is quite profound. All power comes from God. He gives it to whomsoever he wants. I'm only here telling God that I'm here ready to partner with you to rescue and to restore Nigeria. I'm not here that is a do or die affair, no. If God does not want me, there's nothing I can do. There are many people who are even more qualified than me. You've mentioned them. But let me also say something. If you look at the quality of people PDP is parading, these are people that can rescue and restore this country anytime, any day. So I will not say I'm the most qualified. I will not say no, not at all. But I want to say that I offer myself to rescue and to restore Nigeria. I feel challenged by the current situation. Let my children tomorrow come and say, Daddy, you had what it takes. You had the capacity. You had the training. You had the exposure. You had the sincerity of purpose. You had the antecedent. How come you never offered yourself to serve? Were you selfish, Daddy? What happened? That's why I'm coming up also. I'm telling Nigeria and say, here am I. I have what it takes. What Nigeria needs is what I'm already providing. If Nigeria wants to be rescued and restored, here am I, Udom Emmanuel. I report for duty. Send me, and it will be done. But at the end of the day, the entire decision, no matter what we do, mind you, in my leadership book, I've read that people expected the Almighty to come in earthquake. He did not come in the form of earthquake. They expected him to come in a boisterous wind. He didn't come in a boisterous wind. They expected him to come in the fire. He did not come through fire. But my leadership book tells me he came in a still, small voice. That still, small voice is what will reign and what will superintend over the affairs of men come 2023. How do you know where that still, small voice is coming from or is resting on? I believe Udom Emmanuel has a very excellent and brilliant chance because of what I think Nigeria needs and what I think I've provided, and even to do more if I can replicate at a bigger scale, controlling policies, controlling apparatus of governance, controlling structures, systems, strategies, and building up a better shared values that can actually take us there. I think I stand a good chance, but God will decide who he wants for Nigeria next year. Thank you.
All right, Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State, we want to thank you very much for joining us on today's program and for the eloquent submissions that you have made. And for the record, please do know that we applaud what you are doing in terms of Ibom Air and the intervention that you gave when the sector was going to go on strike. And Ibom Air, stood his ground to say that we will stand for country. That was a good one. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Steve.
And we wish you the very best.
You're already endorsing me. Thank you, Steve.
That's not what I've done. I'm only applauding what you have done in the area of aviation intervention.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been a good time with you all. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, Akwa Ibomites. Thank you.
Thank you, Idi.